There is a specific kind of vulnerability that only exists on a long road. You are moving. You are enclosed. You are dependent on the road itself to take you where you are going. No neighbors to call. No building to run into. Just the headlights and the dark on either side. And however many miles still remain between you and somewhere safe. The people in tonight's stories were all on roads when it happened. Highways. Back roads. Stretches of nothing in the middle of the night. All three of them made it home. All three of them drive differently now. Story number 1. The woman on I-75. I drive for a living. Not trucks. I am not a commercial driver. I am a traveling sales representative. For a medical equipment company, which means I cover a territory that spans 4 states, and I am in my car more hours of the week than I am anywhere else. I know highways. I know how to read them, how to feel them, how to stay alert on them at 2 in the morning when the rest of the world is asleep. I thought I had seen everything the highway could show me. Until the night of November 14th, 3 years ago. I was driving back from a client visit in Knoxville, heading north on I-75. Somewhere in the stretch between Jellicoe and the Kentucky border. It was 11:40 at night. Raining. Not heavily, but steadily. The kind of rain that makes the road shine and turns every set of oncoming headlights into a smear of white. There was almost no traffic. A truck every few miles. Nothing else. I came over a long gradual rise in the road and my headlights picked up something on the shoulder about 200 yards ahead. A car. Pulled over. Hazard lights blinking orange in the rain. And standing beside it, facing the road, a woman. She was not waving. She was not holding up her phone. She was just standing there with both arms at her sides. I slowed down as I approached. Something stopped me from pulling over. I cannot fully explain it. I have stopped for stranded motorists before. I carry jumper. There was nothing obviously wrong with stopping. Both arms at her sides, not signaling, just facing the road, made my foot stay on the accelerator. I passed her. In my rearview mirror I watched her turn to follow my taillights with her eyes. She did not move her body. Just her head. Tracking me. I drove another half mile and my chest was doing something uncomfortable. I called 911. I told the operator there was a woman standing on the shoulder of I-75 northbound near the mile marker I gave her, appeared to need assistance. The operator took the information and then asked me something that has stayed with me ever since. She asked, was anyone else in or near the vehicle? I told her I hadn't stopped. I hadn't looked that closely. I had just seen the woman. The operator said okay. And she said it in a way that was careful. The way someone is careful when they know something you don't. I asked her if there had been other calls about this location tonight. There was a pause. She said she couldn't share that information but that officers were being dispatched. And she appreciated the call. I never found out what was happening at that car. I have searched for news from that corridor, that night, that area. I have found nothing. What I know is this. I drive that stretch of I-75 4 or 5 times a year for work. I have never stopped for a lone person on the shoulder since. Not once. Something about the way she tracked my taillights with just her eyes made sure of that. Story number 2. The truck on Highway 93. My best friend Kara and I drove cross-country the summer after we graduated college. I want to say that up front because this story is partly about what happened to both of us, not just me, and Kara has given me permission to tell it. We were on day 4 of the trip, driving through Nevada on Highway 93, the stretch north of Las Vegas heading toward Ely. If you have never driven that road, I will tell you what it is like. It is absolutely nothing. Not nothing in a peaceful way. Nothing in a way that reminds you how small you are. The desert on either side is flat and goes on until it meets mountains far away. And the road is ruler straight for 30 miles at a time. And at night there is no ambient light from any town or city. You are driving in a tube of your own headlights. Everything outside that tube does not exist. We had been on that road for about 2 hours when Kara, who was driving, said very quietly, "Do not turn around." The way she said it made me not turn around. She said, "There is a truck behind us that has been following at exactly the same distance for 40 minutes. I asked her what she meant by exactly. She said, "I have sped up. I have slowed down. Whatever I do, it stays the same distance behind us. Like it is measuring." I pulled up the map on my phone. Ely was still 61 miles away. There was nothing between us and Ely. No towns. No gas stations. One road. I told Kara to speed up to 90 and hold it. She did. The truck stayed exactly the same distance behind us. I called 911. The signal was weak, 1 bar, cutting in and out. But I got through. I told the operator we were on Highway 93 northbound. And we believed we were being followed by a vehicle that had tracked us for over 40 minutes regardless of our speed. The operator told us to maintain speed, stay on the line, and that a Nevada Highway Patrol unit was 22 miles south of Ely and heading toward us. We drove. The truck drove. 18 minutes later we saw the blue and red in the distance coming toward us. The patrol car crossed the median and fell in behind the truck. The truck pulled over immediately. We did not stop. The operator told us to keep going, get to Ely, go to the first lit public place we found and wait. We sat in a Denny's in Ely for 3 hours. A highway patrol officer came to speak with us at around 2 in the morning. He told us the driver had been he would not tell us anything else. He took our contact information and said someone might be in touch. Nobody ever contacted us. We finished the road trip. We made it to Portland. We have talked about that night many times since. Kara told me that for the entire 40 minutes before she said anything. She kept hoping she was imagining it. She kept waiting for the truck to turn off, or speed past, or fall back. It never did. Whatever that driver wanted from 2 young women alone on a desert highway in the middle of the night, we will never know. And I think that not knowing is the part that stays with us the most. Story number 3. The Man by the Road. This is the story I have never told anyone outside of my immediate family. Not because I don't believe it happened. Not because I am ashamed of how I reacted. Because telling it makes it real again. And for a long time I needed it to be something that was almost over. I was 23. I had been visiting my parents for Thanksgiving and I was driving back to my apartment, a 4-hour drive on mostly rural roads through central Pennsylvania. I had made this drive a dozen times. I knew every turn. It was just after 1 in the morning when my tire blew out. Not a slow leak. A full blowout, the kind that grabs the wheel and tries to take the car into the ditch. I managed to pull over onto a gravel shoulder. On a county road I did not know the name of. No street lights. No houses visible in either direction. Just trees and dark and my hazard lights blinking. I had a spare. I had changed a tire before. I told myself this was fine. I got out. The cold hit me immediately. It was 28 degrees, clear sky, no wind. The kind of cold that feels surgical. I got the jack and the spare from the trunk and crouched down beside the flat. I had been working for maybe 5 minutes when I heard a car approaching. It slowed as it reached me and pulled over about 30 feet ahead. A man got out. He was older, 60s, I thought, wearing a heavy coat. He called out, "Need a hand?" I said I thought I had it, thank you. He said it was awful cold to be out here alone. Walked a few steps closer. I said I was fine, really, almost done. I was not almost done. I had barely started. He walked closer again. Something shifted in me at that moment. Not a thought. Not a decision. Something below thought. Something that said, "Do not let this man get any closer." I stood up. I left the jack on the ground. I left the spare against the wheel. I walked to my driver's door and got in and locked it. He was standing about 15 feet from my car now. In my headlights. Not moving. I called my father. My father answered on the second ring. I told him where I was. The route number, the last town I had passed, and I told him there was a man outside my car and I did not feel safe. My father said, "Stay on the phone with me. Do not hang up for any reason." The man outside walked slowly to my window. He knocked on the glass. Once. I did not open the window. He said something I could not fully hear through the glass. It sounded like, "You should let me help you." I said into the phone, "He is at my window." My father said, "I am calling 911 from the house phone right now. Keep talking to me." The man stood at my window for what I measured in my father's breathing. Slow. Steady. My father kept talking, nothing important, just words. Just the sound of someone who knew where I was. After a time I cannot accurately measure, it felt like 10 minutes. My father later told me it was closer to 3. The man walked back to his car. He sat there. His engine was running. He did not leave. Then he came to my window. He said the man had a record. He would not specify for what. He said I had done exactly the right thing. The officer stayed with me while I changed my tire. He followed me to the next town and waited until I was on the main highway. I drove the rest of the way home without the radio on. Just the road and my own breathing and the thought that kept circling. If I had let him help me. I have never finished that sentence. I don't intend to. Your instincts exist for a reason. The people in these stories trusted theirs. Thank you for listening. If something happened to you on a road, I want to hear it. Email is in the description. New stories every Friday. Subscribe so you never miss one. Drive safe. A road at night is one of the last truly isolated places left in the modern world. Your phone has one bar. Your options are limited. The next exit might be 40 miles away. The people in tonight's stories made split-second decisions. One did not stop. One called for help while still moving. One got back in her car and locked the door. All 3 of those decisions were correct. All 3 of them are home because of it. If you are ever on a road at night and something feels wrong, do not argue with that feeling. Do not talk yourself out of it. Do not worry about being impolite. Keep driving. Call someone. Get to a lit place with other people. Your instincts exist for a reason. The people in these stories trusted theirs. Thank you for listening. If something happened to you on a road, I want to hear it. Email is in the description. New stories every Friday. Subscribe so you never miss one. Drive safe.